I'm Ed Kelley, editor of the Oklahoman. A presidential State of the Union speech is a long-standing tradition in our country, and Barack Obama becomes part of that tradition tonight. To talk about what's at stake is Chris Casteel, chief of the Oklahoman's Washington Bureau and a frequent contributor here on News OK TV. Chris, obviously it's a big night for President Obama. What should be the goals for the new president giving his very first State of the Union speech, do you think?
Well, I think for any new president, the goal should be to lay out kind of short-term, long-term goals for his presidency and convince the nation that, he's up to accomplishing them. Of course, President Obama has come in at an absolutely extraordinary time in the nation's history. Not the first president to come in during a recession. Ronald Reagan came in during one. President Bill Clinton came in during one. Right. But this one seems much different, of course, to a lot of people. It's deep, it's painful, it's scary, it's global. And this president has been quite visible in the last few weeks trying to deal with it, from the stimulus plan to his housing plan to economic summits, et cetera. But I think tonight what he needs to do is maybe perhaps skip any soaring rhetoric, deal directly with the American people, talk to them frankly about what he's doing, how it all ties in, and where he sees it going. I mean, it's not like he can give a timetable for when this thing's going to end, but he probably does need to explain to them what his overarching vision for all this government intervention has been, justify it, and lay out at least a roadmap for coming out of this thing.
Right. Okay, you mentioned the recession and this extraordinary time. Obviously, the economy will fill much of his address, but what other issues should he be talking about tonight?
I definitely think that he shouldn't do one of those State of the Union type speeches where they have this laundry list of things that touches on all kinds of minutia. That if he's going to go much beyond the economy, that maybe he could talk about health care, because in connection with the economy, it's a major concern for a lot of people, and that's an ambition of his, is to take on the health care system. He should, and because he's obviously making this address to Congress, he should talk about working together. I mean, that's right. Been obviously a major focus in the last few weeks because of how the votes came out in the stimulus package. Hardly any Republican support at all. So he probably needs to stress, and again, without any kind of soaring rhetoric, but just in blunt terms, that it's time for all of us to work this out together. It doesn't need to be a red state, blue state solution to any of this. That all of these lawmakers represent the same amount of people, and that they all should be at the table talking about it.
Okay, Chris, well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
Stay here on News OK for more coverage of the State of the Union speech.